Venom Paige is preparing for one of the most significant moments of his career as he makes the bold move up to middleweight to face Jared Cannonier this weekend at UFC 319. For the majority of his career, Paige has competed at welterweight. This shift to a higher weight class wasn't a spontaneous decision. The middleweight division is currently in flux, with Islam Makhachev moving up to challenge Jack Della Maddalena for the title. Seeing an opportunity, Paige decided to test himself against a bigger, stronger opponent on one of the sport's biggest stages. According to Paige, the move has already brought noticeable benefits. Carrying the extra weight has made him feel stronger, more powerful, and far more comfortable during fight week. "I'm under zero stress," Paige said. "I feel stronger. I feel like I'm carrying more power. That helps a lot." Years of cutting down to welterweight took a physical and mental toll, and avoiding that grueling process has lifted a huge burden. However, Paige is under no illusions about the challenges ahead. Natural middleweights are accustomed to the power and pace of the division. Their bodies have been conditioned over years of training and competition to handle heavier shots. "If I hit a welterweight with that shot, they'd already be wobbling," Paige explained. "But against a middleweight, I might need to land it 3 or 4 times before I get the results I want." This reality means his approach will need to adapt. Precision, strategy, and shot selection will be even more important, as relying on a single fight-ending punch may not be enough. Another factor is that Paige is still new to the division. While confident in his skills, he admits he hasn't yet had the time to fully develop his body into an ideal middleweight frame. Years at welterweight shaped his build, and maintaining speed, explosiveness, and cardio while carrying more mass will take time. Paige believes that with the right adjustments, he can grow into a serious contender if he chooses to remain at middleweight. Long-term, future training camps would focus on building muscle, increasing strength, and becoming fully comfortable at the weight. "Once I have the complete package, skill, frame, and power, I can be a real threat in this division," he said. UFC 319 will be the first major test of how his move-up will play out under the bright lights. UFC 319 hit by last-minute fight cancellations. UFC 319 has suffered 2 major fight cancellations just days before the event, reshaping the card and forcing the promotion to make last-minute adjustments. The first blow came when King Green, formerly known as Bobby Green, officially withdrew from his scheduled bout against Diego Ferreira. The UFC has not disclosed the reason for Green's withdrawal, but confirmed the matchup will be rescheduled for a later date. Ferreira, clearly disappointed, told BJPN.com that he was ahead of schedule with his weight cut and already down to 162 pounds. Well, within reach of the lightweight limit, for Ferreira, this fight was a significant opportunity to make a statement. And losing it so close to fight night is a major setback. Green has yet to release a detailed explanation, but he did post a short, emotional message on Instagram. "No one will understand my pain, my strength, or my journey." While cryptic, the statement hints at personal struggles or circumstances behind the decision. Until more information emerges, fans are left to speculate. The second cancellation came from the highly anticipated Ultimate Fighter finale between Daniel Danchenko and Rodrigo Cezinando. Cezinando suffered an ankle injury in the final stages of training camp, forcing him to pull out. The UFC has confirmed the bout will now take place at the UFC Noche card on September 13. The delay is a disappointment for Tooth fans eager to see the season's conclusion play out live at UFC 319. Despite the setbacks, the card remains stacked with high-stakes matchups and compelling narratives. Venom Paige will make his bold leap to middleweight against Jared Cannonier, while Arman Tsarukyan has publicly vowed to wait for Islam Makhachev, hoping to avenge their 2019 bout. Elsewhere, Dricus Du Plessis has made headlines for refusing to engage in manufactured trash talk with Cancellations, insisting his performances in the cage will speak for themselves. Rising star Pico is also set for his UFC debut after sharpening his skills alongside Chimaev in one of the most intense training camps of his career. Yes, losing to anticipated fights stings. Yes, some fans will be disappointed, but UFC 319 still promises drama, elite competition, and potential fireworks. With so many intriguing style matchups and divisional stakes on the line, the event remains a must-watch. Soon, the build-up will be over, the cage door will close, and the action will speak for itself. Arman Tsarukiyan has made a bold and crystal-clear statement about his future. If he captures the UFC lightweight title, his next move will be to wait specifically for a rematch with Islam Makhachev, a fight fueled by unfinished business. The rivalry traces back to 2019 when Tsarukiyan was still a newcomer in the UFC. Makhachev won their first meeting via unanimous decision in a competitive bout, but Tsarukiyan walked away, convinced he could have done more. That loss has remained a constant motivator, driving him to refine every part of his game over the years. Now, with the lightweight division at its peak, Tsarukiyan believes the opportunity to settle the score could soon be within reach. When asked what would come next if he defeats Ilia Topuria and claims the belt. He didn't hesitate. I'm going to defend as much as possible. I want to be the greatest fighter in the world because I know how hard I work and how much I dedicate myself to this sport. I love it so much. I give everything to it, and it's got to pay off. That relentless passion has made Tsarukyan one of the most dangerous rising stars in the division. His aggressive yet calculated style blends elite grappling with sharp striking, forged through battles with some of the best the UFC has to offer. But for Tsarukyan, simply being among the elite isn't enough. He wants to be number one, and in his mind, that journey isn't complete without facing Makhachev again. If I get the belt and beat Ilia, I'll be waiting for Islam at 155. I'll wait for him to come back down. Tsarukyan added, It's a rare stance in an era where champions often chase the biggest paydays or cross-division superfights. Tsarukyan is prepared to hold his position and defend his title until Makhachev returns to lightweight, driven by legacy, redemption, and the belief that he has closed the gap since 2019. Whether or not Makhachev makes that drop soon, the challenge has been issued, the seed is planted, and the stage is set for one of the most anticipated rematches in modern MMA. Dricus Du Plessis has made it clear, manufactured drama isn't on the menu for his highly anticipated middleweight showdown with Khamzat Chimaev at UFC 319. Speaking during Media Day, Du Plessis was asked whether he planned to stir up personal issues at the press conference to get inside Chimaev's head. His answer was straightforward, offering a glimpse into his mindset on fight promotion. I don't know, we'll see, he said. I can't practice these things. People always think I rehearse this stuff, but I can't. For Du Plessis, trash talk isn't something that should be scripted. He believes the best exchanges happen naturally in the heat of the moment, when emotions are real and reactions are genuine. Comparing it to spontaneous conversations around a campfire, he explained that authentic banter is born from the situation, not pre-planned for the cameras. That's just banter. Real banter comes in the moment. If it's predetermined, it's cringy to me, so I have to do it in the moment. Du Plessis said, It's a refreshing stance in today's fight game where verbal sparring is often used as a deliberate marketing tool. Du Plessis isn't opposed to hype, but he wants it to come from genuine competition, not fabricated storylines. And so far, he sees no need for fake animosity. Indeed, the fight sells itself. Both men are undefeated at middleweight. Both possess aggressive styles, and both have built reputations as relentless finishers. Still, Du Plessis made it clear he's ready for any tone the build-up might take. This fight is already huge. It's big enough on its own, but if that's the route he wants to go, let's do it, he said. For Du Plessis, the priority is the fight itself. He knows that once the cage door closes, all the talk, real or fake, will be irrelevant. What matters then will be performance, strategy, and the willingness to push past limits. Confident in his cardio, relentless pressure, and adaptability, Du Plessis believes he can handle anything Chimaev brings, both inside and outside the cage. With UFC 319 fast approaching, the press conference still has the potential to produce fireworks if emotions flare, but for now, Du Plessis stands firm in his belief that respect and pure competition can generate just as much excitement, and sometimes even more than manufactured conflict. Aaron Pico has opened up about his experience training alongside Khamzat Chimaev in the lead-up to UFC 319, a camp that holds special significance for the rising prospect. Not only is Pico preparing for his long-awaited UFC debut, but he's also been sharpening his skills against some of the most intense and competitive athletes in the sport. According to Pico, few fighters bring the same energy and focus to the gym as Chimaev. Despite being the newest addition to the UFC roster, Pico is aiming high. He believes that a strong performance and a win over Ronnie Murphy in his debut could put him straight into the featherweight title conversation. For Pico, that confidence comes not from arrogance, but from the elite preparation, skills, and high-level training partners that have shaped his camp. I really enjoy training with him because of his aura and intensity. Pico said of Chimaev, I thrive off competing with guys that share my mindset, trying to be the best in the world. We were constantly competing in different exercises and pushing each other. It was an honor to train with him. Chimaev's training style is famously relentless. Short breaks, high pace, and an expectation that every round is fought like the fifth round of a championship bout. For Pico, that environment strengthened not only his physical game, but also his mental toughness. When I found out I was fighting Ronnie Murphy, I was excited. Pico said, I just want to get in there and make my UFC debut. I think with a great performance, I'll definitely be in the talks for a belt. But it is what it is. I have to be ready to fight anybody in the world. Murphy is far from an easy debut opponent. Undefeated as a professional with an impressive UFC track record, he represents exactly the kind of high-stakes challenge that can define a career's trajectory. But that's precisely what Pico wanted. The UFC is already giving me top guys, which is what I asked for. No walk in the park, but I'm mentally and physically ready for it, he said. While most fighters ease into the UFC with lower-ranked opponents, Pico's willingness to jump straight into deep waters mirrors the mindset of past champions. Training with Chimaev has reinforced his belief that he belongs among the sport's elite. If he can deliver a statement win over Murphy, his UFC journey could accelerate far faster than anyone anticipated. That's for UFC 319's main event storylines. Dricus Du Plessis maintains it will be very hard for Khamzat Chimaev to figure out his style when they meet. A statement that adds yet another layer of intrigue to a stacked fight card. Dricus Du Plessis believes his style is so unpredictable that even he doesn't fully understand it himself. And that's exactly what makes him so dangerous in the octagon. While he hasn't faced a large number of middleweights yet, his resume speaks for itself. His most notable victory came against former champion Robert Whittaker, a performance that shocked many fans and ultimately secured him a title shot. However, Du Plessis is quick to point out that Whittaker's fight isn't a perfect comparison to what Khamzat Chimaev will face. He emphasized the significant differences between himself and Whittaker, noting that while Robert is a skilled and experienced fighter, Chimaev will be dealing with a very different kind of physical presence. Now Chimaev steps into a battle against a man who has already proven he can push the pace for all 5 rounds if necessary. Du Plessis considers that ability to sustain maximum effort for as long as the situation demands one of his biggest strengths. Trying to figure out my style is going to be hard because I adapt in the moment, he explained. I don't fight with a rigid system. I fight based on what my opponent is doing. That's the future of the sport. You can't just plan to grapple or strike. You have to adapt. That philosophy makes him versatile and unpredictable. As he put it, I might have a whole camp for striking, but if the opportunity is there, I'll take someone down, and vice versa. This adaptability forces opponents to prepare for everything, and when their attention is divided, mistakes happen. Du Plessis also believes certain aspects of his game are underestimated. I think my power is overlooked, he said. My physical strength and punching power are real. While many focus on his toughness and cardio, Du Plessis is confident that his raw power can be a decisive factor, especially against an opponent like Chimaev, who is used to dictating physical exchanges. But beyond his physical tools, Du Plessis insists there's one attribute that truly sets him apart: his mindset. What sets me apart from everyone else is my will to win and my refusal to give up. No man can break me mentally. I will never break. That's why I'm a champion. That unshakable mental toughness has been tested in fights where he's had to overcome adversity, fight through damage, and still find a way to win. Against Chimaev, he knows he will need every ounce of that resilience, and if his words are any indication, he's ready to push both himself and his opponent to their absolute limits. UFC 319 hit by last-minute fight cancellations. UFC 319 has suffered 2 major fight cancellations just days before the event, reshaping the card and forcing the promotion to make last-minute adjustments. The first blow came when King Green, formerly known as Bobby Green, officially withdrew from his scheduled bout against Diego Ferreira. The UFC has not disclosed the reason for Green's withdrawal, but confirmed the matchup will be rescheduled for a later date. Ferreira, clearly disappointed, told BJPN.com that he was ahead of schedule with his weight cut and already down to 162 pounds. Well, within reach of the lightweight limit, for Ferreira, this fight was a significant opportunity to make a statement. And losing it so close to fight night is a major setback. Green has yet to release a detailed explanation, but he did post a short, emotional message on Instagram. No one will understand my pain, my strength, or my journey. While cryptic, the statement hints at personal struggles or circumstances behind the decision. Until more information emerges, fans are left to speculate. The second cancellation came from the highly anticipated Ultimate Fighter finale between Daniel Danchenko and Rodrigo Cezinando. Cezinando suffered an ankle injury in the final stages of training camp, forcing him to pull out. The UFC has confirmed the bout will now take place at the UFC Noche card on September 13. The delay is a disappointment for Tooth fans eager to see the season's conclusion play out live at UFC 319. Despite the setbacks, the card remains stacked with high-stakes matchups and compelling narratives. Michael Venom Paige will make his bold leap to middleweight against Jared Cannonier, while Arman Tsarukyan has publicly vowed to wait for Islam Makhachev, hoping to avenge their 2019 bout. Elsewhere, Dricus Du Plessis has made headlines for refusing to engage in manufactured trash talk with Khamzat Chimaev, insisting his performances in the cage will speak for themselves. Rising star Arman Pico is also set for his UFC debut after sharpening his skills alongside Chimaev in one of the most intense training camps of his career. Yes, losing to anticipated fights stings. Yes, some fans will be disappointed. But UFC 319 still promises drama, elite competition, and potential fireworks. With so many intriguing style matchups and divisional stakes on the line, the event remains a must-watch. Soon, the build-up will be over, the cage door will close, and the action will speak for itself.